We're going to be talking about Brittney Griner here in this video. As you guys know, Brittney Griner is all for biological men going over into the WNBA. She was actually on record saying this, guys. She is all a part of the mission to destroy women's sports. Now, Riley Gaines and a few other women out there are actually fighting the good fight to actually save women's sports. But super woke athletes like a Megan Rapinoe or a Brittney Griner, they want men to actually come into women's sports.
The WNBA has found itself at the center of a firestorm, and this time, it's not just about basketball. A recent incident involving Brittney Griner and Caitlin Clark has ignited a heated debate, with Riley Gaines stepping into the fray to call out what she and many others perceive as open racism and a troubling double standard in the league. The controversy has exposed deep fissures in the WNBA's handling of its biggest stars, its refereeing biases, and its struggle to maintain relevance without its most marketable player, Caitlin Clark. And here's where it gets even crazier. The league's response or lack thereof suggests they're more committed to political posturing than protecting their players or growing the game. Let's unpack this explosive situation, explore its implications, and speculate on what could happen if Clark takes her talents elsewhere.
Thursday night, Indiana Fever and Atlanta Dream played. Indiana Fever is where Caitlin Clark plays. Atlanta Dream is where Brittney Griner plays. Now you tell me what it looks like Brittney Griner is saying here. For a little bit of context, this was in the fourth quarter after Brittney Griner fouled out against Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever would go on to win by 5. Now I'm going to tell you what I think she said. Let's play it back. Looks to me like she is saying trash and then calling Caitlin Clark a plebe white girl. Just a reminder, this is who Joe Biden traded for the Russian merchant of death. So many WNBA players hate Caitlin Clark.
On May 22nd, 2025, during a game between the Atlanta Dream and the Indiana Fever, Brittney Griner fouled out after a call against Natasha Howard beat Caitlin Clark. As Griner stormed to the bench, cameras caught her muttering something that sparked immediate controversy. Social media erupted when Riley Gaines, a former NCAA swimmer and outspoken conservative commentator, shared a clip alleging Griner called Clark trash and a effing white girl. Gaines' post went viral, racking up millions of views and fueling outrage among conservative fans who saw Griner's words as a racist attack on Clark, the WNBA's golden child. But here's what they're not telling you. The video lacked audio, leaving room for interpretation. Former ESPN analyst Jameli Hill pushed back, insisting Griner said trash and effing whack call, referring to the referee's decision, not Clark. Hill accused Gaines of spreading misinformation, while others like Skip Bayless doubled down, claiming Griner's words were likely aimed at Clark's popularity and impact on the league. The WNBA and Griner remained silent, refusing to clarify or address the incident, which only poured fuel on the fire.
BG, right now you have 10 points, 5 rebounds. We see the Atlanta Dream as being very... Right now she's talking to the refs about holding. We're going to send it back to you guys.
Very important questions there, I'm sure, for Brittney Griner. She said sorry.
Gaines didn't stop there. She called out the WNBA's hypocrisy, noting that if Clark had made a similar remark about a black player, the league would have come down hard with fines, suspensions, or public condemnation. Her remarks resonated with fans who felt the WNBA was protecting Griner while ignoring Clark's mistreatment. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, the league denied media credentials to Outkick, the outlet Gaines collaborates with, raising suspicions of a cover-up. This is where things take a shocking turn. The WNBA's refusal to engage suggests they're more interested in controlling the narrative than addressing potential racism.
In a viral clip, after she made a foul play, Griner appears to mouth something rather controversial. It might be, though we don't know, trash and possibly fucking white girl. Others have suggested it might be trash and fucking whack call. We don't know what she's mouthing, but she seems to, have a mouth on her and not exactly be in the gratitude space. Griner herself hasn't commented. Now, why is that? If you were being accused of making racist statements, I think you'd want to clear that up quickly. You'd race to the cameras and put out a statement on X to say, I said fucking whack call. I didn't say effing white girl. But she's not. She's apparently totally comfortable letting those allegations linger. Maybe she's worried that the people on the bench or the people right behind her had a recording going. You know how people do? They record the game. They want to show their friends that they were there. Maybe she's concerned that if she comes out and says it's one thing, there might be proof that it was something else. We don't know because she's not speaking to it.
The Griner-Clark incident isn't an isolated event, it's a symptom of a deeper issue within the WNBA. The league has increasingly aligned itself with progressive political slogans from Black Lives Matter to gender equity campaigns. While these initiatives resonate with some fans, they've also influenced how the game is officiated, creating a perception that certain players are protected while others, like Clark, are unfairly targeted. And you'll never guess how it ends. The refereeing bias against Clark has become so blatant that even neutral observers are crying foul. Clark, in her sophomore season, has faced relentless physicality on the court, often without the whistle she deserves. The Griner incident, though verbal, fits into a pattern where Clark's opponents seem emboldened to test her, knowing the league won't intervene. Her former NBA star Ron Harper argued that Clark is targeted not for her race but for her skill, but this explanation doesn't satisfy fans who see a racial double standard. When Angel Reese posted a TikTok mocking Clark as a white girl afraid to catch this fade, the WNBA stayed silent, yet they launched a 2-week investigation into unsubstantiated claims of racist fan behavior toward Reese.
Brittney Griner is playing a game, and this is what Brittney Griner calls. I was not going to comment on any of this stuff until this took place. Watch what she says. The entire internet has reacted to this. Here's Brittney Griner. They're playing against the Indiana Fever, and look what she's saying. Go ahead, Rob.
Or the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Well, that pretty much sounds like trash effing white girl.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest.
So the whole market reacts to this.
But here's the part that nobody saw coming. The WNBA's ideological bent may be alienating its biggest draw. Clark's meteoric rise has brought unprecedented attention to the league, with sold-out arenas and record-breaking viewership. Her absence due to a quad strain in early 2025 exposed just how dependent the WNBA is on her star power. And that's where things take a wild turn. Without Clark, ratings have plummeted, and the league's refusal to protect her could push her to explore other options. Nobody expected the WNBA's ratings to be so disastrous without Caitlin Clark, but the numbers don't lie. In 2024, Clark's rookie season, games featuring the Indiana Fever averaged millions more viewers than other matchups. Her rematch with Angel Reese drew 10,000 fans to a Mystics game, and a Phoenix Mercury game with Griner and Diana Taurasi pulled 12,586. These figures dwarf typical WNBA attendance, but hold on, it gets even better or worse depending on your perspective. In 2025, with Clark sidelined by injury, viewership for Fever games dropped significantly. The Atlanta Dream's win over a Clark-less Fever on June 10, 2025, barely registered in ratings, despite Griner's social media taunt afterward. The league's attempt to pivot to other stars like Reese or Griner hasn't worked. Fans tune in for Clark, and without her, the WNBA struggles to fill seats or screens. This is where things start getting dangerous. The WNBA's management and referees seem oblivious to Clark's value, prioritizing political optics over their biggest asset. Washington Mystics co-owner Sheila Johnson even criticized Time magazine for naming Clark its 2024 Athlete of the Year, arguing that other players deserved recognition. While Johnson's point about overlooked talent isn't baseless, dismissing Clark's impact ignores the data. She's the league's biggest draw, and her absence is a financial and cultural blow. Riley Gaines has emerged as a lightning rod in this controversy, using her platform to highlight what she sees as the WNBA's failure to address Griner's alleged racism. Her posts on X, including one on May 23, 2025, accusing Griner of racial slurs, sparked a wave of conservative backlash. Gaines' rhetoric, while polarizing, taps into a growing sentiment that the WNBA is hostile to Clark because of her race and marketability.
Just last night, we got into a Twitter or an X altercation, if you will, a back and forth with Simone Biles.
And here's where everything changes. Gaines' involvement has elevated the incident beyond sports, turning it into a cultural flashpoint. Her accusations resonate with fans who feel Clark is unfairly treated, and her collaboration with Outkick has amplified the narrative of a league protecting Griner at Clark's expense. When the WNBA denied Outkick's media credentials, Gaines and Clay Travis cried foul, accusing the league of retaliation. This move only deepened suspicions that the WNBA is hiding something, further galvanizing Clark's defenders. But what happens next will change everything. Gaines' outspokenness has put pressure on the WNBA to respond, but their silence suggests they're doubling down on their current approach. This could backfire spectacularly if Clark's frustration reaches a breaking point, prompting her to consider drastic alternatives. Speculating on Clark's future is where things go completely off the rails. If the WNBA continues to mishandle her, she could opt to play overseas or in a rival league, a move that would shake the women's basketball world to its core. European leagues like Turkey's or Russia's offer lucrative contracts. Some players earn upwards of $1 million per season, dwarfing WNBA salaries. Alternatively, a new domestic league could emerge, capitalizing on Clark's star power to challenge the WNBA's monopoly. And the consequences, they'd be brutal. Clark's departure would cripple the WNBA's viewership and revenue, potentially relegating it to niche status. The league's already struggling to compete with the NBA, and losing its biggest star would be a death knell. Imagine Clark thriving in Istanbul or Moscow, drawing global audiences, while the WNBA scrambles to fill her void with less marketable players. Griner, despite her accolades, doesn't command the same fan base, and her 2025 stats career lows of 12.6 points and 6.0 rebounds suggest she's past her prime. But here's the most important part. Clark's exit would expose the WNBA's failure to prioritize talent over politics. The league's obsession with ideological conformity has alienated fans who just want to watch basketball. If Clark leaves, those fans will follow, leaving the WNBA to grapple with empty arenas and dwindling sponsorships. And by the end of this, you'll understand why this is so important. The WNBA's handling of Clark could determine its survival. The Griner-Clark incident, amplified by Gaines, is more than a sideline spat. It's a microcosm of the WNBA's identity crisis. The league's majority black roster and leadership have long navigated racial dynamics, but Clark's arrival has intensified these tensions. Her popularity, often attributed to her whiteness, has sparked resentment among some players and commentators who see her as overshadowing black stars. Griner's alleged remarks, whether aimed at Clark or not, feed into this narrative, giving ammunition to critics like Gaines who argue the league tolerates anti-white bias. And that's where things take a shocking turn. The WNBA's silence on Griner's comments, contrasted with their swift investigation into Reese's claims, suggests a double standard that undermines their zero-tolerance stance on hate speech. This inconsistency fuels distrust among fans who increasingly view the league as more interested in politics than fairness. Clark herself has acknowledged white privilege, a move that earned her backlash from conservative outlets like Outkick, but her on-court treatment suggests she's paying a price for her fame. Stick around, because the next part is huge. The WNBA's refusal to confront these issues head-on risks alienating its growing fan base, many of whom were drawn in by Clark. If the league continues to prioritize slogans over substance, it may find itself irrelevant in a sports landscape hungry for authenticity. The Caitlin Clark-Brittney Griner incident, with Riley Gaines as its loudest critic, has laid bare the WNBA's challenges in navigating race, politics, and stardom. Griner's alleged remarks, whether racist or misconstrued, have sparked a reckoning that the league can't ignore. And the final twist? It's something no one expected. The WNBA's future hinges on how it treats Caitlin Clark. Her absence has already exposed the league's dependence on her, and her potential departure could be catastrophic.
Cunningham is down behind the play, but they've got Caitlin Clark. It's very coolly. Two players with incredible up.
But here's why this matters to you. This isn't just about basketball. It's about fairness, accountability, and the cost of prioritizing ideology over merit. The WNBA has a chance to learn from this moment, to protect its stars and rebuild trust with fans. If they fail, they risk losing not just Clark, but the opportunity to cement women's basketball as a cultural force. And that's where everything clicks into place. The choice is theirs, but the clock is ticking. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates. Stay tuned.